our trip to the Meadow Center, we're going to talk about topography today. Yes, so you took a pre-test when you got to the Meadow Center. How well do you think you did?
Awesome. Okay.
Was this like a piece of cake?
No. Yes.
Were there things you struggled with?
Yes.
Okay, Jen, what did you struggle with?
Knowing how to read one.
Knowing how to read it, okay.
So I guess I missed that lesson with y'all, although I've done it.
No.
But I did not like my first question, number one. Because I watched a thing on Discovery and I was taking my prior knowledge of that first, what was on here and trying to put that realistic edge on it.
Okay. All right. Anybody else want to share anything?
I loved how they use the scale for, I'm math, so I'm not used to looking at a topography map. But I thought it was cool how I could use that map and show the kids how, this is how you use the scale. And
Good. That's a good
trying to
application.
figure out how the lines. I was mixed up with the depth of the power lines. If they're more spread, it's more of a slope. If they're close to, or something like that. Yeah, see, I didn't.
Well, see, you are in the right place because we're going to talk about that exact same thing today.
I knew it had to do with something, but I didn't.
Laura,
Yeah.
I would like for the elementary people, fifth grade people, or no, actually, the elementary people to pull out your elementary teaks, and I want you to look right now at which teaks that are K-5, I guess you'd say, that students have to know those concepts before they're going to understand what we're supposed to know in 8th grade.
Okay, so we're taking out our K through 5 science teaks and look at those teaks to see where in elementary school you need to know for foundational purposes these things. All right. So here is the teaks for 8th grade that we're going to look at today. The student is expected to interpret topographic maps and satellite views to identify land and erosional features and predict how those features may be reshaped by weathering. That's a lot. Maybe it doesn't sound like a huge deal, but Jen just said she was struggling with how to read the map. And if you don't know how to read the map, how are you going to interpret the map? If you can't interpret the map, how are you going to predict how that map is going to change when weathering and erosion and deposition reshape that land?
Laura,
So
may I
this is a
interject
mouthful.
one more time? We have problems with our 5th grade teachers that are in our projects whenever we're teaching above their grade level. And I'm sorry to say that they complain, I don't teach this. No, but you have to know more than you teach, and you have to know what's important as prerequisite knowledge to enable your students to know what they need in middle school. So that's why I wanted you to look at your K-5 teaks to see which are prerequisite concepts, because just like Laura was saying, this is a very, if you will, pregnant text. I mean, it's got lots of concepts in there. It's not just one. It's a broader idea.
So perspective for math versus science, we have that problem with saying reduce and simplify and so on, for science versus math.
The language.
Terminology, the language. For us, for math, the closer the space should not be equivalent to the larger space, but on topographic, it doesn't matter. If the space between one to the other is 20 as a scale, it doesn't matter how big that space looks visually versus it being skinny, it's still that same distance. Am I correct?
You mean in elevation?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's still correct. See, for math, we're seeing it as if it's not the same distance, it has a different measurement.
Well, but.
So that's where I was getting confused. I'm like, how does that make sense?
And that's confusing.
And then now I'm able
really
to,
confusing for kids.
because they're taking it as, oh, well, in math, this is the scale, it needs to be consistent, have that proportionality, but then in science, since it's elevation, it shows, I tell them, okay, well, do you ever see a mountain that's in perfect shape on every side? No. So that's kind of how I used it, but for me looking at it, I was just like, why is this different? Why are these closer together, but it's still the same equivalency as over here in the left
Okay.
field.
All
So I
right.
mean, but I know for my students, it would be like, because they'll be like, why is that like that? You know, if you
Well,
have a good
hold on to
example
that
for
because there's a lot of different
Yeah.
math elements that are critical for understanding this, and we're gonna look at that.
I just wanna make sure I got that term right.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah.
cross over.
And for you math teachers, this is great for you to see the terms that we see in science, so we can make sure we're all using the same language, like instead of reduce, we simplify.
Laura,
Yes,
one of the other things that I noticed as a principal, if I had an upper grade teacher and, sixth grade, they get kids all the way through, and by the time they're in sixth grade, they expect them to know this stuff, okay? And then they're like, well, if the kindergarten teachers had just done this, or if the third grade teachers had just done this, or the fifth grade teachers had just done this. Okay, if, it doesn't matter. Where they are is where the teachers start. And so if you know what all those teats are and how they feed into you, our job as teachers is to,
Be able to know and transfer.
right, and so if they don't know it, that's where you start. And you don't say, well, if your teacher had just done this, and then say, but I'm starting here, I don't have time to do this, you don't have time not to. So, as a principal, I dealt with that all the time.
well,
Just
and
saying.
we can blame, but reality is reality. We get what we get, and we have to start where they are and get them to where they need to be. Yes,
But it's also retention anyhow, so you still have to.
they sleep.
No, they lean over and it just falls out.
So that's why we have to be super effective at what we do and make sure that we are hitting the T, because they're gonna remember, hopefully, the T, and we don't wanna fill it with other nonsense.
Could I enter in a conversation that came up in our class? Monica is from our class, you'll remember this, and that's hitting the teaks. You don't hit the teaks. I know Laura, I've been in her classroom, she doesn't hit the teaks, she teaches the teaks. The students learn the teaks. One of our students who's in a block class at a middle school said that they, because of whatever, they had one day to teach topo maps. So the teacher showed a video. My student, who's pre-service science middle school teacher, said she thought it was a good video, and then in listening with the kids, they didn't get it. And she completely changed her attitude about teaching just from listening that the kids did not get apparently a very good video on topo maps. But they had one day, so the teacher showed a video. That's hitting the teaks, that's not teaching the teaks, that's not students learning the teaks.
I guess you could just read the teaks and say.
Oh, there you go.
You just
Or
pass
have
them
a
out.
student do it.
Done, pass them
Just
out.
pass them out.
And go on vacation.
Read these girls off, there you
And
go.
we'll see how that works out. We're done. Okay, so you have your feeling about how you did it. We're not gonna go over that now. We're gonna look at that later, so maybe you can go back and apply what you have learned as a post-test and see the difference. So here's what we're gonna start with. I want you, each of you, to take the hand that you don't write with. Okay, take the hand you do not write with, make a fist. Okay, hold it at eye level with your fingers and thumb facing away. Okay? Okay, now imagine that you're a little ant, you're crawling across your fist. Okay? What do the ridges of your knuckles look like?
Mountains.
Hang on just a minute. Let's see. James? This isn't the right bucket.
No.
I
Okay.
hate that.
I know, let's just keep drawing and see. Okay. What do the ridges look like? Yes.
Mountains or hills?
Mountains or hills, okay? And what do the little lower pieces look like? Valleys. Okay. So how are your knuckles? And a mountain range similar? I want you to turn to your shoulder partner and talk about how are your knuckles in a mountain range similar?
Should we switch so we
Do your face partner, that would be easier to figure out. Face partner, how are your knuckles in a mountain range similar?
There's usually sports. Oh.
Lots of weathering.
Mine are like, because then if you do a topographic map. See the thing, So, when you do the topographic and your topo map is different. So you have them drawn, yeah, so then you have to map it around.
Okay, here we go, guys. All right, how are your knuckles in a mountain range similar? What did you discuss, Shayna?
We discussed that I think I was overthinking it. They go up and down like in a pattern. in succession.
What do you mean up and down?
I mean the levels of your hand. I guess you have a higher and then a lower right after it, and then a higher and a lower.
Okay.
They're not exactly the same, but there's a pattern to it. So it's where there's a high, it's off and go low.
Okay, so I see that on your knuckles. What do you call those in mountain ranges?
Peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys, that sounds great. Let's see, Elizabeth, what did y'all talk about?
Levels, elevation levels, appear to,
Rise and fall, okay, or increase and decrease. Okay, good. Okay, so now, here we go. There should be some plastic wrap sitting at your table. So every person needs a piece of plastic wrap in your right hand. See if you can straighten it out so it's smooth and you don't have enough. There's not enough? Who needs plastic wrap? Every person gets a piece of plastic wrap.
Horizontally across our knuckles. And tuck it into the side. Need help? It's a two-person job. Lay it across horizontally across the knuckles of your fist and hand and tuck it in the side, holding it in place with your thumb and fingers. Go like this. Or you touch your wrist.
So here's what I want you to do.
Basically wrapping your fist.
All right, so you have your plastic wrap in your right hand. Now this is super technical. Keep your fist in your non-dominant hand, and you're going to wrap this plastic wrap over the top of your fist, covering your knuckles. And then kind of tuck it in and hold it tight for your fist, okay? And make sure it's tight over your knuckles, okay?
No, it's not. The way you were doing it was terrible.
I think you'll be happier with this.
Okay, now, we're a little bit short on Sharpies. Please don't use the highlighters or the expo markers because you will create a lovely smeary mess later. But using a marker, you're going to draw first. Draw a line around each of the 4 knuckles on your fist. Draw a line around, with a Sharpie in your bucket, there's some Sharpies, and you're gonna have to share right now. And use, hey guys, listen please. Those Sharpies are fat Sharpies. Use the skinny little tip and draw just a skinny line around each of your knuckles.
Okay.
Draw a circle around each of them.
Draw a line
at the
around
base
each
of
of
the
those
knuckle,
4
right?
knuckles
The
across
base or
the
the
top
top?
of your fist.
The base of the knuckle first?
You can't really see it too much.
Sure, base of the, yeah, that looks good. Would you hold that up, Brenda?
Oh, very nice, Brenda. Can we grab the black or green?
Yeah, of course.
Y'all look awesome. Hey, Howard, I'm trying to write here. Okay. Everybody got your circles drawn?
No, because we're working in
Okay.
partners, we're collaborating.
That looks pretty sad. I think my paper punched.
Now, if you drew a huge big fat circle around the base of your knuckles, draw one inside the circle. Everybody else, draw a second line around the outside of the first line on each knuckle. So if your first circle is really big, you might consider doing one inside without the lines touching.
Well, see, that's what I find too, but it shouldn't touch.
That's what I was asking, because if I drew it exactly where
Just you drew it inside.
Okay, now, are we there yet? Okay, hello.
Laura, can you find a model for us that's like that, a good example to take a picture of?
Melissa has her 2 circles around each knuckle. Can you see Melissa's knuckle?
You use the fat part of the marker, so you use skinny. That's all that coloring I do with my 5-year-old.
I knew it'll pay off in the end.
She got some very tired.
Don't want to get nothing up.
Tired of it.
Okay, I'm seeing that most of the knuckle drawing is done, okay? And now, draw one line around all 4 knuckles. Just surround those first 2 circles on each knuckle. Now you're doing one big line around all 4 knuckles.
Do we contour or are we just drawing our line?
Wow, big word.
Contour.
What you need to do.
Here, let me do it.
No, I haven't, I'm doing it next week. Last year I made the mistake of doing this without the saran wrap.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Highlighters?
Oh, no, it's Sharpie.
Are you serious? They had a
Yeah, I gave out a medley of different markers, and the Sharpies were the ones, they really remembered it.
I'm sure they did.
For a few days.
I don't think that's a bad idea. I like the marker on the skin idea, because it's like walking in that front door and seeing a rose of your deposition in your school.
Yes.
You're gonna remember.
Maybe not for the next day.
When you do this, this with students. If you want to do it on their hand, this is an easy way to, and I'll share more later, but consider, if you want to do it on your hand now, more power to you. I don't. I may next week when I'm doing it with students, but I'm not going to do this today. Okay, so you've got your lines drawn, right? Now, what do you notice about your creation? Talk to your face partner again and answer these questions. What do you notice about your creation? And then compare your knuckles to other people's around you. What are the similarities and differences?
It's like more defined.
As you take it off, then you
you can have like other areas that are bigger.
the distance between
But it's still the same height, you know, so.
That's not what she said, she said draw
Craig, what did y'all talk about with Craig? There you are. What did you talk about with your face partner?
We talked about comparing the circle-like shapes, and we came to the conclusion, or we came to kind of a conclusion that the smaller the diameter of those circle-like shapes, the higher elevation compared to the lower elevation lines. So the lower elevation lines are going to have a bigger diameter than the smaller circles. Like the smaller circle on the inside is higher elevation and it's a smaller diameter. The circle around it is a lower elevation and has a larger diameter.
Okay, so you're saying